Good Friday morning, Patriots, and welcome back to O'Connor's Right Stand. I'm your host, John O'Connor, software engineer by day, conservative truth warrior by night. First off, I just wanted to apologize. I recorded the entire edition for release yesterday morning, but when I went to splice the audio, simply was none. I believe I figured out it was a memory issue with my computer, but all that work was wasted. So that's the reason for this delay. Anyways, the other morning on my daily walk, I pulled up X and started scrolling through the comment sections on a few different posts. It felt like an all-out battlefield out there. I mean, I get it. Tensions are high. You're tired of being lied to, or maybe you've stumbled across a human buffoon and feel the urge to humiliate them into silence. But here's my question for you. Do you really think you're going to change that person's mind? I mean, chances are, if the argument's gotten that heated, they're already dug in deep. I mean, sure, cursing and name-calling can feel good in the moment, and it's definitely a way to blow off some steam. But is it the best use of your time? I'd argue, probably not. As I watched the chaos unfold on multiple posts, I heard Dan Bongino's voice from a few years back in my head. He said something that stuck with me. You're not arguing with them. So you aren't going to change that buffoon's mind. You're speaking to that independent voter, that bystander on the sidelines who has yet to make up their mind, and is just reading the comments and collecting information. That's your real audience, and that's where we win. Look at the numbers. In 2020, Biden supposedly won independents by 13 points. In 2024, that margin shrank to just 3%. That shift doesn't happen by trading insults. It happens by bringing facts, reason, and clarity to the fight. So the next time you're debating on X, or for that matter, any social media platform, remember, let them be the ones foaming at the mouth, hurling the ridiculous accusations. Nazi, racist, bigot, sexist. We stay calm. We stay factual. We show we're better. Because we are better. And with that, my friends, I'll step down from my soapbox. Well, for today, Patriots, we are going to expose Adam Schiff, California's masterful Washington insider who climbed the ranks on Ivy League polish and national security swagger, but now finds himself entangled in truth-bending scandals and real federal investigations. So, let's jump in. Ready to hold the line unapologetically? The Right Stand starts now. Let's start with the basics, because knowing your enemy matters. Adam Schiff, now California's newest senator, has been poisoning politics since slithering into Congress back in 2001. This Harvard Law graduate, because of course he is, represents Hollywood and Burbank, a constituency reading like a who's who of liberal elites, entertainment industry degenerates, and trust fund socialists. Perfect training ground for a career liar. But here's what they don't tell you about Schiff's background. He cut his teeth as a prosecutor in the 1990s going after FBI agent Richard Miller for espionage, learning all the tricks of the intelligence trade along the way. That experience gave him deep connections in the intelligence community that he'd later weaponize against Trump. By 2015, when he became ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Schiff had the perfect perch to launch his war on American democracy. What really drives this snake? Power and money. Schiff's net worth has mysteriously ballooned during his time in Congress. Despite making a government salary, his Hollywood connections made him a fundraising machine, ranking in millions from the same entertainment industry that pushes transgender ideology on your kids and anti-American propaganda in their movies. The guy who lectures us about foreign interference has spent decades taking money from the very people who hate traditional American values. Schiff isn't just a politician. He's a bought and paid for puppet of the radical left. And now we know he was positioning himself for the ultimate prize, running the CIA. When Trump won in 2016, Schiff didn't just oppose him. He declared war on democracy itself. As Intelligence Committee ranking member, then chairman, Schiff turned what should have been an oversight into a propaganda operation. He spent 4 years telling anyone who'd listen that he had evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Remember those Sunday morning talk show appearances where Bug-Eye Schiff claimed he'd seen proof Trump was a Russian agent? All lies. But it was worse than theater. A Democratic intelligence officer who worked for Schiff's committee repeatedly warned the FBI starting in 2017 that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information to smear Trump over the debunked Russiagate scandal. According to the bombshell FBI memos Director Kash Patel turned over to Congress just now. Here's the nuclear bomb that just dropped. The whistleblower revealed that Schiff thought he'd be CIA director if Hillary Clinton won back in 2016. Let that sink in, Patriots. Schiff wasn't just playing partisan politics. He was positioning himself to run America's spy agency while simultaneously weaponizing intelligence against Trump. The man who wanted to control the CIA was already acting like he owned it. A Democratic whistleblower called Schiff's behavior treasonous and illegal, both of those I quote. And the FBI, they buried it. Christopher Wray's bureau sat on evidence that a congressman was leaking classified intel and did nothing. The timeline matters here. In 2017, while Mueller conducted his witch hunt, Schiff was feeding classified information to friendly reporters to keep the Russia hoax alive in headlines. Every bombshell story about Trump-Russia ties, every leaked detail about intelligence assessments, Schiff was the puppet master pulling the strings. He wasn't investigating Russian interference. He was manufacturing it. This explains so much about the Russia hoax. Remember when the media kept getting scoops about classified briefings? When reporters somehow knew details about intelligence assessments before they were made public? That was Schiff, using his position to weaponize our intelligence agencies against Trump. While he was on TV crying about Russian disinformation, he was running his own disinformation campaign using classified materials our tax dollars paid to collect. And all of it was his audition tape for Hillary Clinton, proving he turned the CIA into a partisan weapon. By 2019, when the Ukraine call became the left's new obsession, Schiff was ready for a starring role. As lead manager in Trump's first impeachment, Schiff turned the House floor into his personal theater, complete with dramatic readings and fictional dialogue. Remember when he paraphrased Trump's call with Zelensky, making up quotes that never existed? That wasn't a mistake. That was Schiff doing what he does best: lie. But the impeachment farce revealed something deeper about Schiff's methods. He coordinated with the so-called whistleblower before the complaint was even filed. His staff met with this person, helped craft the complaint. Then Schiff pretended he'd never heard of them. That's not oversight. That's conspiracy. The whole Ukrainian impeachment was Schiff's production from start to finish. He handpicked witnesses, leaked selectively to the media, and turned classified briefings into political weapons. Sound familiar? It's the same playbook he used during Russiagate, except this time he had the gavel. Schiff wasn't seeking truth. He was manufacturing a case for impeachment, using the same dirty tricks that would later get him censured. And let's not forget his treatment of Republicans during these hearings. Schiff cut off questions, silenced opposing voices, and ran the proceedings like a Soviet show trial. He denied Republicans the right to call witnesses, refused to allow cross-examination, and leaked selectively to create a false narrative. This is the man Democrats call a quote-unquote defender of democracy, a guy who turned congressional oversight into an authoritarian theater. By 2023, even some Republicans found the spine to hold Schiff accountable. The House voted to censure him for his conduct during the Trump-Russia investigations, the first House censure in over a decade. His response? He was defiant, saying he'd wear this formal disapproval as a badge of honor. A badge of honor. That tells you everything about Schiff's character. Getting censured for lying to the American people, for weaponizing classified intelligence, for turning Congress into a partisan circus. And he's proud of it. No shame, no remorse, no acknowledgement that maybe he crossed a line. The censure resolution was specific, promoting false accusations about Trump-Russia collusion, abusing his chairman position, and misleading Americans. But here's the kicker. While Schiff was being censured for his Russia hoax lies, he was already planning his Senate run. California Democrats didn't care that their golden boy was formally condemned by Congress for misconduct. They rewarded him with a promotion. That's today's Democratic Party. Lie, cheat, get promoted to a higher office. Now, let's talk about what motivates Schiff. Money and power. This guy's been working the system like a Vegas card counter, using his position to enrich himself while lecturing the rest of us about ethics. His net worth has grown mysteriously during his time in Congress, despite making a government salary. Where's that money coming from? First, there's his Hollywood connection. Schiff's district includes some of the wealthiest zip codes in America, and he's been cashing in. His fundraising numbers are obscene, millions flowing in from the entertainment industry elites who want access and influence. These are the same people pushing transgender ideology on your kids, defunding police in your neighborhoods, and promoting anti-American propaganda in their movies. Schiff's their guy in Washington, and they've been paying him handsomely for it. But it gets worse. Schiff's been playing real estate games that would make a mobster blush. The latest scandal involves alleged mortgage fraud, claiming different homes as his primary residence to get tax breaks and favorable loan terms. The FBI Director Kash alleges Senator Schiff falsified bank documents by claiming his Maryland home as his primary residence while doing the same in California to gain tax breaks. Think about this. While Schiff was lecturing Trump about financial impropriety, he was allegedly committing mortgage fraud. While he was demanding Trump's tax returns, he was playing games with property taxes. The hypocrisy is breathtaking, but it's par for the course with the snake. But the walls are finally closing in on Pencil Neck. A special attorney is investigating prominent Trump opponents on mortgage fraud allegations while federal prosecutors probe these cases. The DOJ now investigates both the mortgage fraud and potentially the classified leaks. Trump's Justice Department isn't playing games this time. They've got a special attorney looking into Schiff's financial crimes, and with Kash Patel at the FBI, those buried memos about classified leaks are finally seeing some daylight. Just this week, FBI Director Patel dropped the bombshell that should end Schiff's career. A Democratic whistleblower told the FBI that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information to discredit Trump. But here's the kicker that just came out. The whistleblower revealed Schiff expected to be CIA director under Hillary Clinton. Think about that. The man who wanted to run America's intelligence apparatus was already treating it like his personal weapon against political opponents. This isn't Republican partisanship. It's a career intelligence professional who worked for Democrats calling out Schiff's criminal behavior. The memos show this whistleblower repeatedly warned the Bureau starting in 2017 that Schiff was authorizing the release of classified information to smear Trump. Schiff wasn't just committing crimes. He was auditioning for the top spy job by proving he'd weaponized intelligence for Democrats. A senior administration official confirmed that a criminal case has been referred to the Justice Department. This isn't political theater. This is a criminal investigation into a sitting U.S. senator. The mortgage fraud alone could send Schiff to federal prison. Add in the classified leaks, and we're talking about potential treason charges here. And here's what really gets me fired up. Schiff's crimes follow the exact same pattern we see from every corrupt Democrat. They accuse Republicans of exactly what they're doing themselves. Schiff spent 4 years claiming Trump was compromised by foreign powers while he was taking money from Hollywood elites who hate America. He accused Trump of obstruction while he was leaking classified information to obstruct legitimate governance. Remember when Schiff claimed Trump was a threat to national security? Turns out Schiff was the one leaking classified intel to the press. Remember when he said Trump was corrupt? Turns out Schiff was committing mortgage fraud. Remember when he claimed to be defending democracy? Turns out he was trying to overturn an election through lies and manufactured evidence. It's always projection with these people. Every accusation is a confession. Every time they point fingers at Republicans, they're trying to distract from their own crimes. Schiff perfected this technique, and now every Democratic politician uses the same playbook. So what do we do, patriots? First, spread the word. The mainstream media is trying to bury this story because it destroys the Russia hoax narrative. They don't want to admit they were played by a corrupt congressman leaking classified information to get a job running the CIA. Share these stories on X, Truth Social, wherever you're not censored yet. Second, demand accountability from your representatives. Call your congressmen, call your senators, and demand they investigate Schiff's crimes fully. The House needs oversight hearings on how the FBI buried this evidence. The Senate needs to consider expelling a member under criminal investigation. Use congress.gov to find their contact information and flood their offices with calls and emails. Third, support the criminal investigation. The DOJ finally has patriots in charge, but they're under enormous pressure from the left to drop these cases. Make noise. Call Pam Bondi. Call the DOJ. Show up at town halls. Demand justice for Schiff's crimes. We can't let them sweep this under the rug like they did with Hillary's emails or Hunter's laptop, for that matter. Finally, remember this moment. For years they told us the Russia investigation was legitimate. They told us Schiff was a hero defending democracy. They told us Trump was the real criminal. Now we know it was all lies. Every accusation was just projection. Every investigation was corruption. Every news story was propaganda fed by a congressman who thought he deserved to run the CIA. The house of cards is falling, and it's falling hard. Adam Schiff built his entire career on lies, enriched himself through systematic corruption, and weaponized our government against the American people. But truth has a way of catching up to even the slipperiest of snakes. And justice has a way of finding those who think they're above the law. The FBI memos are public and damning. The criminal investigation is underway and accelerating. The mortgage fraud evidence is mounting like a stack of unpaid bills. Schiff's own Democratic allies are calling him out, which tells you just how toxic this guy has become. The story isn't going away, no matter how much the mainstream media tries to ignore it or spin it as political persecution. The evidence is too overwhelming. The witness is too credible. And the crime's too serious. We're watching the systematic collapse of the Russia hoax architects, one corrupt official at a time. First it was FBI agents like Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, caught red-handed in their anti-Trump bias. Then it was the Mueller team, exposed as partisan hacks. Now it's Adam Schiff himself, the puppet master behind the whole operation. One by one, the people who tried to destroy Trump are being exposed as the corrupt criminals they always were. But this is bigger than one senator's crime. This is about restoring faith in our institutions, demanding accountability from our government, and ensuring justice is in our system. Schiff represents everything that's wrong with the Washington swamp. The corruption, the lies, the weaponization of power against ordinary Americans who just want their voices heard. But we're fighting back, and we're winning, finally. We're exposing the truth, demanding accountability, and refusing to let them get away with it this time. The deep state thought they could bury this forever, but patriots never give up. And the truth always finds a way to surface. Adam Schiff spent a decade thinking he was untouchable, protected by his media allies and the Democratic Party bosses. He leaked classified information, lied to Congress, defrauded banks, and enriched himself through corruption. He thought his Hollywood donors would save him, his media allies would protect him, and the deep state would cover for him forever. He was wrong. Dead wrong. Justice is coming, patriots. The reckoning is here. And Adam Schiff's house of cards is about to come crashing down in spectacular fashion. And I love this. That's why we hold the line unapologetically. That's why we fight for truth relentlessly. And that's why we never, ever give up on America, no matter how dark things look or how corrupt the swamp gets. Keep your head high, your voices loud, and your faith strong. The truth will out. Justice will prevail. And patriots will win this fight. This is John O'Connor, signing off. Until next time, hold the line.